Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mr. Pick Me and the Manhater podcast. My name is Reagan, aka the Manhater, even though I don't hate men. And my co host is. Your mic is off! We were so
I
close!
am here. I am present. My mind isn't present, but I am here. My name is Chesko.
Okay.
I am what they call online Mr. Pick Me, even though I've already been picked.
My God! Why is your mind
hmm
elsewhere, Jessica?
there's a fire nearby. Again, LA. Woo! Another one just sprang up. I believe it's moving away from us. Still scary, obviously, and obviously, even if we're safe, it's still scary for all the people that it might be moving toward. But that's LA, baby.
It's just another day in the apocalypse.
I saw on my on this day the other day. It was raining really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone forgets to drive, and I was like, it could be worse. We're normally on fire, and I was like, oh, what a horrible video to come up on my on this day.
Thank God it doesn't like automatically post.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Uh, it is the reality of living sadly of climate change in Los Angeles.
Well, hopefully we can just give you a brain break for an hour.
I hope so too. You know what I would like to do a brain break for? I'm gonna go on a little tangent right here. Do you read or listen to, we never talked about this, the Fourth Wing series of books?
I do not.
It's Dragon Rider Smut.
Oh
Uh,
gosh.
but it's kind of like I forget the Akatar ones, but it's not like them at all. It's a different author, and it's about. I was asking for book recommendations,
Uh-huh.
and I could do a whole podcast on this, by the way. I know you didn't read it, so we can't. But I was asking for book recommendations, and a bunch of my followers gave me a bunch of different things, and I was like, I don't know. I'll try this. I'll listen to it. A bunch of them said this is like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The a Court of Thorns and Roses, is that what
Mm-hmm.
the very?
Mm-hmm.
And I started listening to it. And I don't know. I was just really bored by it. No offense to anybody that
And
likes those.
problematic author, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's issues with it. That was before I knew all of that.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I didn't like it. Went back before I knew she was problematic.
The problem was I just didn't like it
Yeah.
at the time.
Anyways, so I was like, I'll move on. So that's when I like made a whole post about it, and
Mm-hmm.
people were giving me all these suggestions, and a bunch of people kept saying fourth wing, fourth wing, fourth wing, and so I was like, what's that? And I don't like looking up info about the books ahead of time because I want to be surprised, right? I don't even
Ah,
want to read
fair.
a summary of it. I just want to know. And I was like, without spoiling it, what is it? And they were like, oh, it's about like a person that goes to like a college to ride dragons like in
Love
battle.
that.
And I was like, I love fantasy stuff like that. I
Yeah.
love that. I was like, that sounds cool. Sure, I'm gonna read it. And so I'm reading the first book, and we're 17 chapters in, 18 chapters in, something like that, before there's anything that is not just world building
Mm-hmm.
about this amazing academy of dragon riders. And I was into it. I can't speak to the veracity of it being like a well-written book or anything, but I really enjoyed it, right? I
Sure.
was into it all. And then I was listening to it on audiobooks, and I'm sitting in front of my kid's school waiting with no warning.
Yeah.
Very graphic sex scene. And I had no idea that it was coming,
You're like,
or that
oh.
and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I turned off the book. I was like, nobody can hear me, but I'm sitting at a grammar school.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, I'm sorry, I'm
Oh God.
sorry.
Okay. And so I'm listening to it, and I'm like embarrassed listening to this thing, and now I'm into it. Now I'm like, this book is great. But at first I was like, I'm too far. I had already invested in these
You're too
characters.
far in. I've been
At that
there.
point, I couldn't stop reading it,
Yeah.
and I'm not like morality police like, oh my word, stars and garters,
I'm getting the vapors. My
people are
God.
having relations on this.
They're riding other things than dragons.
There is a graphic dragon sex scene as well. Later, not the spoilers, I guess. Sorry.
Why? Why do we need to see
Anyways,
the dragons? What's happening?
with I don't want to give out too many spoilers, but long story short, I was like, I'm invested now, and I thought it was a one book thing. And so it goes on to this the second book, I was like, all right, well, I got to read the second book, and I thought that was it. And now that the third book just came out yesterday,
You're
and
hooked.
I'm so excited. I'm
You're
into it
hooked on
now.
the
This is
Dragon Rider smut. You gotta.
if there's any fourth wing creators out there you recommend, let me know because I want to have discussions about this, and no one I know is reading it. So
You timidly lost me at the sex scene, but you definitely lost me at dragons having sex. I
yeah,
gotta
it's
draw
more
the
it's more.
line.
No, I'm not gonna downplay it. It's so good
It's
though.
straight up dragon intercourse.
I gotta find out what Violet's second signet is, Reagan.
Oh my God, same. Whatever that means. Did you?
They
There was
know.
actually a big.
Heather
We'll
knows.
get back on topic.
Heather
Heather knows.
knows.
We'll get back on topic at some point.
Yes.
There was a huge controversy because Call Me Chris is like a huge creator, and she
Hmm.
came out with like this review on smut books or whatever, like dramas,
Uh-huh.
and like making fun of it and like
Mm.
basically saying they were really bad books and blah blah
Uh-huh.
blah, and it was like a huge deal. She ended up like changing the name of the video and changing the YouTube
Wow.
thumbnail because people were like, don't come for our books,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
you come for our smut books, we
Yeah.
love them, and who are you to judge? And
Hmm.
like, yeah, I was like, I can't imagine coming for book talk.
No.
Like I
Hmm.
you can't, it won't be
what was
me.
the big one that came out like a while back? They made a
Oh,
movie about it. The big smut book that
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, the author follows me.
That's
I never read it, so I don't. We don't need to go into it. So,
yeah,
but
the dynamics are problematic and not
yeah,
true to
yeah,
the kink community, but
yeah.
um
I don't know enough. I don't know enough about
she
kink
follows me.
to have a intelligent discussion on it, but
But dragons having sex, you for sure will
I
talk
will talk
about.
about that all day long because it's not there. I can't be wrong. No, there's no scientific text that's going to talk about the dynamics of dragon kink.
You know what, Chesko?
Mhm.
As crazy as I know our conversations get, I
Mhm.
literally, there was not any in the realm of possibility did I think that we would be speaking about dragon
I
kink.
the thing is, I like crappy. I don't care if they're crappy or not. I've said this before about movies. I'm a horrible judge. Like, if you ever want to make sure, like, someone gives your movie a good review
Call
or
up
your book,
Chesko.
call me. I'm probably gonna like it. I like as long as if I can get through. Like, there's certain things I like. So earlier, there's certain books I just like. I don't. I'm not gonna go online and trash it necessarily because I'm like, but if I get through, if I watch the whole thing, even a book that I probably didn't like reading, but I do finish it,
Mhm.
I'm gonna that was worth it. I'm gonna find good things to say
I
about it.
love a good read.
Yeah. I even liked freaking I loved the Da Vinci Code and all those popcorn books. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if people were gonna was there problematic things about those? I don't know,
I
probably.
never read them. I just remember how like everything. It's a map.
Yeah. I just
Everything.
love it. I was like, this is great. It's like a popcorn reading. I was like,
I
this is great.
mean, I
Let's find the next
love
clue. Let's go, Dan Brown.
I love murder mysteries. I
Hmm.
love like mystery novels.
Hmm.
To this day, I will not reveal. There's the twist in Gone Girl. Spoiler, I'm not spoiling the twist, but that there is one. I
Hmm.
was reading the book and audibly gasped. It was during quarantine. I was like,
Hmm.
no,
Yeah.
what? I had never like I love all those. So
This
we
could be
love
the
book
topic.
talk.
This could be the topic for today, talking about like
I'm
the
not talking about dragon intercourse with you,
well, no,
okay?
not that particular book, but the
You're
idea
like
of because
page one.
there's a let me read to you. Violet walks
Please don't.
to
I
the
will
therapist.
if you tried to read me a dragon smut, I would have to leave.
Yeah.
I have to be
But
honest.
there is something to be said about a feminist take. By the way, this is not the topic. We already decided on the topic for our
I
show
don't
today.
even know why we're talking about this, but we are.
But there is something to be said about a the because it was big originally, especially like the 50 Shades thing. Like I said, without getting
Mhm.
into the problematic aspects of the books, but within like housewife or stay-at-home moms and like where it was like this like a sense of rebellion, right? It was this
Yeah.
idea like you don't know what I'm reading. It's like I am living this very cookie cutter suburban life, and I'm reading about this other thing.
Yeah.
But I think in general, I just grabbed my voice crack talking about adult
Like,
thing.
this is so
This is
sketchy.
the second week. This is the second week in a row my voice is cracked. It's because my asthma's been acting up. Anyway, there's the idea of though of owning your sexuality, right?
Sure, sure.
And being it's okay to have these feelings and to enjoy these things when women are told that they are not allowed to like sexual things. They are
Like
not
own their
allowed to be
sexuality.
sexual.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of women that were in cultures and relationships where they were meant to be subservient, kind of
Sure.
trad wife kind of life, where that became famous in, wondering why, right? Because it was a chance for them to actually embrace
Hmm.
things that is normal to like sex, right? Not talking
Yeah.
necessarily about every action. Not about dragon. Every dragon doesn't have sex, right? In that way. But the idea of embracing your sexuality and enjoying sex as opposed to
Yeah.
just being a participant in sex.
Yeah. And
Um,
someone else's enjoyment. Yeah. I remember catching people reading it like out and about, and I was like, girl.
mhm.
I was like, oh my God. I haven't read it, but
Yeah.
I know what's in it
And you know what?
somewhat.
That's a perfect connection to today's video and today's topic, which is the best thing a wife can give her husband. Theme song.
You want bad advice? Man, I'll give it out gladly. I got some good advice for you. No, you don't. Like, no, you don't. I got some good advice for you. No, you don't. Like, no, you don't. Shit.
I'm so good at connections. I'm so good at it. I'm so bad. It's not good. But it's so,
It's
that
still
was a connection.
I can always find a connection, whether or not other
Mhm.
people get it, up for debate.
Right.
But Chesko, when I woke up this morning, there's two things I really wanted to hear.
Hmm.
You talk about dragon on dragon action
Hmm.
and a man to tell me how to be a good wife to a husband. So
I'm
let's
happy.
do it. I want to hear it.
All right, here we go.
I'm freaked. I'm scared.
What is the most valuable thing my wife can do for me? Other than the number one most valuable thing my wife can do for me. It's going to be to make sure that there's no man on the planet that believes in the back of his head that he can have her. When a woman can give a sense of security that no other man can have any part of that, not even emotionally. I'm talking about complete and utter loyalty. That is the most valuable thing a wife can do for their man. Just be loyal. As long as she's loyal, I got the rest.
Reagan, how do you feel about that?
Ooh, rough start. Real rough start. I don't know if someone could make me like them less from the get-go, but the thing, she could
I
give me a
can I can confirm to you that I've responded to at least a half dozen of this guy's videos before, and he is in fact a terrible person. So, in case you were worried,
no.
in case you were worried, maybe I'm taking him out of context.
Yeah, maybe what I literally heard,
Hmm.
saw, didn't
Hmm.
happen.
No, no. I want to be very clear that your feelings are valid with how you felt about that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Because let's just quick recap of what he said.
Recap.
The number one thing that you can do for your husband,
Besides,
aside from a,
what is it? I don't know. Tell a lesbian.
so many ways that could go, I
No,
guess.
no, don't tell me. Actually, just go. Oh God, just move past this.
I think it
Go.
means quiet missionary with the lights off.
No.
Is to not not cheat, I guess, is to be or to
Uh,
not talk, to be his caged puppy.
Kidnapped. Okay, well, I think it was interesting that one of the things he said was that he wants it so that she makes sure no other man thinks he could get with her. which is such a bizarre thing to say, as if it's her responsibility to make sure other men aren't lusting
Right.
after her.
Well, because clearly, if another guy hits on her, it's her fault.
I know. Well, it's
She
like,
was,
have you met men?
yeah.
There's an 80-year-old man that I could walk past who would be
Mhm.
like, hey, I probably have a shot.
She's exuding her pheromones to these poor victims of men, and they
Yes.
are helpless.
They have to
But
harass her.
she had the audacity to smile in public,
She was
not at me.
breathing.
She was breathing. You know what that means? She was wearing lipstick.
Oh my God, her cheeks were flushed. Oh my, well, just, I think that's so weird how, like, there's just no accountability for men in these conversations. Like,
Mhm.
and not only are the men not accountable for their lust towards women, but it's also the women are accountable for men's lust towards them, which
Mhm.
is so absurd. As if it's ever going to be her fault if a guy likes, like, I can't tell you how many men in my life thought they had a chance. Okay, I had a married coworker, 20
Mhm.
years older than me, who thought they had a chance with me when I was openly gay and married.
Mhm.
So tell me how I was meant to
Right.
control that man was so delulu that he's like, she's just waiting. This is all an
She just
elaborate
has
ruse.
not found the right man.
That's what they
That's
say.
what it, mm-hmm. Who hurt you, Reagan? I won't hurt you.
Who
Have you
hurt you so bad?
that's the only reason why lesbians exist.
Hold on, Chesko. It's who did you let hurt
Who
you?
did you let hurt
Yes.
you?
You put the
Mm.
blame in the wrong place,
I'm so sorry.
Chesko.
No one could have hurt you because men cannot do any wrong, right? And by pointing out any wrong that men do, that
Hmm.
means I am a man hater as well,
Oh
right?
my God.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it.
We switched roles. I'm so
Somebody
sorry.
pick me,
I need to
please.
know my role.
Yeah, it's just it's like the misogyny just like leaks out of them in really interesting places. I have seen a lot of content lately that I critique
Mm-hmm.
of people talking about how you can have no emotional connection
Mm-hmm.
with other men. And I'm just like, um, what world are we in?
Right.
Do I think that men excuse their behavior by saying they're friends with women when they're cheating? Sure. But
Mm-hmm.
this idea that men and women cannot be friends is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you only interact with women in romantic ways, then when you are forced to interact with women, whether that's a coworker, some other like chance meeting you have, you
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to interact with women in
Mm-hmm.
any other way than romantically.
Mm-hmm.
And so you will address that in a flirtatious way. You will address that in a way of pursuing something. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like the cycle never ends.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's so bizarre to try and tell a woman you can have no emotional connection to any man but me.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels, I don't, what I say, isolating perhaps,
Right.
controlling.
Almost like there's a reason they're trying to do that so that they can get away with also
What?
being a horrific individual.
And then to say that's loyalty.
They say that's loyalty. Oh, those are my boundaries. And it's always these fucking insecure guys that are pretending to be the most confident, manly man
Yeah.
on the world that are terrified
Yes.
of being with anybody with even a hint of an opinion or a backbone. Is that like it's just to do anything and have their own life. They don't want them to work. They don't want them to talk to other men. They don't want to
They're
have friendships
prisoners.
with other men. They
They're in
want
a
a
tower.
prisoner.
It's
Mhm.
Rapunzel. It's the Rapunzel theory. They're just like, get up in the tower, girl.
But I cannot imagine being so insecure that it's so funny. I just had a conversation with my wife about this the other day because I'm going to Las Vegas in a couple months for an
Mhm.
award show, and I was like, "Do you have any concern whatsoever about me?" And she was laughing about it because it's like she was like
No.
the idea, and she was like, "I mean, in your early 20s, you definitely liked partying a little bit and stuff," and I
Sure.
was like, "I did. You're right. I don't even like talking to people now."
Things have changed.
Yeah. No, but it's the idea though of like if you're in a relationship where you can't trust your partner, where I don't even think of it like what like I buy her a trip every year. That's kind of become like a gift I buy her every year, to go either to a show somewhere or to go visit somewhere or do something like that. And it's fun. And it's there's never in my mind I'm like, oh, I better pick somewhere where she's not going to be around men, because God knows the second I let her loose, she's gonna
Ah!
cheat on me.
Well, it's like one, I totally agree with you. What they call loyalty is actually catered to my intense insecurity.
Hmm.
Make me feel comfortable because I am so deeply insecure that I
Hmm.
am sure you are going to cheat on me, you're going to be taken from me. But they
Hmm.
present it as loyalty, and that's really
Hmm.
not what's going on. It's this fear that they can't address it because they can't think badly of themselves. They can't think there's anything
Hmm.
wrong with them. So they make it something else. Instead of saying
Hmm.
like, I need to work on my confidence, they say, well, women aren't loyal enough.
Hmm.
Women stray, women this. And the thing that's sad though is it really will never be enough. Because
No.
if they're saying your loyalty is based on never having any emotional attachment to any man, like,
Hmm.
then you're always going to be disappointing them in some way because what's really happening is they're insecure and you're, no matter how loyal you are, quote unquote, they're
Hmm.
going to remain that way. So they're just going to find new ways to be mad at you. And so you're going to keep being punished because they can't deal with that insecurity
Hmm.
because you'll never be able to prove how loyal you are. Like your proof of loyalty can never change that they're insecure. It's not based
Hmm.
in fact, it's based in their own fears and doubts
Hmm.
about themselves. So it's like it'll never go away. So they'll always blame you for it.
Hmm.
And it seems like, oh, that's easy. I can be loyal, but it's their definition of loyal.
Right.
It's their need to be soothed and comforted. And I have dated people back in the day who were like
Hmm.
this, and it's never enough for them. They're always judging and critiquing every interaction you have with a man. They're always
Hmm.
accusing you of things.
Hmm.
And you spend so much of the relationship trying to prove your loyalty when in
Hmm.
the end, all they had to do was just, I don't know, go to therapy. like,
Right.
like just work out whatever is causing them to feel like they have to
Right.
literally lock you down and control you in order for you to stay.
Hmm. Well, there was a guy that even said on there was an old video that I responded. This is like 3 years ago. I responded to this, where he said, "My if your girlfriend asks you if she can go dancing with her friends, ask her if she's okay if you go to the strip club with yours."
Same thing. Exact
Exact
same
same thing.
thing.
Because that's the only reason. And it's the I think this is also gets to why the importance of why more men need to have like women friends.
Yeah.
Because like I if you've ever gone out dancing with women that are your friends, you
Hmm.
would know that like the most of the time that I would go with them, they would ask me and they were like, "Hey, can we buy you drinks?" And just so we can pretend you're our boyfriend if we need to get away from guys. And they would like most nights would just be dancing with each other. And I
Yes,
and then it
100%.
literally, and that's all they wanted to do because it was fun just to go have drinks with your friends
Yeah.
without having to worry about. And then it would just be the second some dude got out of hand, I'd be like, hey man, it's and guys don't care. Like the second when the girl's like, no, thank you, right? When the woman's
Yeah.
like, no, thank you, they're like the guys will be like, well, come on, blah blah blah. But the second I would step in and be like, hey, she's with me, they'd be, oh, I'm so sorry
Yeah.
or and it literally it's scary how little they respected the woman saying no and how easy it was with and apologetic they would be to me
Yeah. Your
for,
property.
oh my God, I didn't know that was
Your
yours.
woman? I touched your
Hmm.
woman. I'm so
Hmm.
sorry. Yeah. And like my experience has always been just wanting to dance. I just want to dance. I just want to dance with my friends. And then I was always like the bodyguard of my friend group, which like I am not that big, but I am feisty and I will fight people verbally if I think they're being inappropriate or rude. So I would always be the one trying to keep men away from my friends and like you would spend so much time like dancing around men and there I don't know what it is like now, but back in the day like men used to just grind on you, like would just come out of nowhere and dance. It's so gross and would be like assault in any other setting. And like it's crazy that like how often men act like girls going dancing is a problem when in the reality the only bad part of the experience is men and men trying to touch on you and dance on you and like wanting to throw themselves into your good time, like thinking they have the right to just like interfere with what you're doing rather than just leave you alone. Like men judge you for going, and yet it's men who make the experience bad when you're
Right.
there.
And it's projection of like, I know what I would do if I was
I would
in your-
absolutely.
yeah. Like, oh my God, why if I was in a situation where a woman approached me and asked me to go back to her apartment with her, I would absolutely, I would cheat on you. So of course you would.
Well, also, if I was at the club, I would be trying to dance on people,
Right,
like
right.
without their consent.
Right. And but it wouldn't mean anything if I did it. It would mean
Right.
the world if you did it though.
I'm just a man whose biological drives force him to dance on girls. I have no choice.
I'm just a widow boy.
I'm a widowed boy getting an alcoholic beverage.
Yeah, I'm a 43-year-old man dancing in a club with 20-year-olds, and I just don't know what to do.
Oh no, what? Oops, I'm dancing on you. Yeah, literally. That's kind of the vibe. It's such a deceptive way of talking about it to say, like, I just need a loyal girl. I'll do the rest. First of all, what the hell does that mean? In a relationship,
Right.
all you have to be is loyal. I'll do the rest. Do what?
Right.
a
Right.
two-person relationship, like you'll do all of the things in the relationship. I just have to be loyal and everything else falls into place. But then again, it's like that actually isn't what you're asking for. You're asking to control a woman. When you're asking for loyalty, you want submission. You want her to have no male friends. You control her. You get to dictate many aspects of her life, but they don't say that. They say loyalty. And that's the sad thing is I think women will get into relationships and be like, I'm loyal. I take loyalty very seriously personally. I've never cheated. I don't believe in it. But I dated men who that didn't matter. Like it was always like, well, that guy talked to you. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
Right.
but then that's your job, right? That's the only, like, that's your main thing. You have to be loyal. So then
Right.
you're thinking of, well, how do I fix this? How do I not let men hit on me? You know, like, how do I stop them? And you just internally, just your mindset changes into everything's my fault. And anything a man does towards me is my fault. I'm not loyal, or this must be my fault. My behavior needs to change. And if they can get you into that cycle of thinking, they can be incredibly controlling.
Right.
And that's what's frightening to me.
Sorry, I'm distracted. I keep looking at the.
I know you're very distracted.
I keep getting fire warnings of. It's like new evacuation warning, and it's gotten closer to us, so it's not just moving north.
Do you want to
anywho.
take a break?
No, and so I just want to make sure if anybody, it sounds like I'm not listening to you. It's because I'm worried about my house catching on fire. So, you know what also catches on fire? The dragon breath in.
Enough of your dragon
Fourth
tales.
Wing.
I can't do it. Okay. Let me do one. Hold on.
Let's do one more, and then if it spreads any closer, I'm just gonna keep on. Then maybe we'll call it a show for today.
Yeah, short show maybe. So this one is coming from an alpha dating coach.
Alpha law number 1. Treat every interaction with a female under the law of 10,000. Every day, 10,000 girls are turning 18. Every day, 10,000 girls are turning 19. Every day, 10,000 girls are turning 20, and so on. That's how you guys handle rejection. There's a new bus stop every 4 minutes. You guys will meet a new woman 5 minutes later, a day later, a week later, however long, but you guys will meet another woman. I promise you that, guys. That's how you handle rejection. Don't let one woman affect the rest of your week, the rest of your day. You guys have to be resilient. You have to move on from that. I will always give respect to the man that has balls to go up to a woman and talk to her, even if he gets rejected. If a guy told me, Danya, I got rejected 10 times in 1 week, I would congratulate that man, because at least he had the balls to go up and approach 10 beautiful women within that week, compared to the guy who makes fun of him, who has no balls to even go up to a beautiful woman. So guys, keep getting rejected, keep going up to a woman, condition yourself. You guys will become resilient over time, I promise you. That made me the man I am today. You go back to the drawing board. Maybe you fix your posture. Maybe you work on your body language, the tonality of your voice, the way you carry yourself, your energy, the things you say. The only way you will learn is through your failures, guys. I promise you that.
Here's the deal. There's the nugget of good advice there is if you get rejected, move the fuck on, right? Don't stalk her. Don't try to force her to say yes. Don't play some mind game to try to trick her into saying yes.
Yeah.
Don't like create some arbitrary value that you've created and then go back to her and keep on. Move the fuck on. Accept her no.
Yes.
That's good advice.
Sure.
That in a nugget there, and there have been a couple videos similar to that, and I'm like, is this like an undercover feminist guy that's actually like
I have to speak in their language,
trying to speak in their language? But no, but that's not what he said. Because also the bad advice is do not go after harass every woman you see constantly. And just kind of do you want to go? You want to be? Is there anybody?
The rule of 10,000.
The 10,000. I was almost glossing over that because it's so horrifying. It's okay, guys. There's 10,000 more 18-year-olds.
Well, it's just like
we just spent our whole episode last week talking about this.
It's this idea that like they don't see women as people. Like they see them as completely interchangeable. It's like fungibility. I've talked about this before, right? Mm-hmm. It's a term I really like. Naya Papaya, is that still her handle? Naya is the one that taught me that, which is like men see women as interchangeable, that like they're exactly the same. Like what it's the same. It's the reason men will say, well, this works every time, because they believe like this trick will work every single time. This line will work every single time, because they don't understand that women are human beings who have different wants, needs, and desires. But this guy to just be like, well, 18 more of them will be on the line. Like they'll be for sale. It's just this idea that like clearly this man is not talking about emotionally connecting with women or seeing them as individuals. Like just go up to them.
Just keep on going. Just keep on going. Buddy.
All of them just say, can you want to date me? You want to date me? And the only qualifier he says is beautiful. That is the only thing he discusses when discussing this woman is that they're all beautiful. It's so sad because like, yeah, that doesn't work. Like you can't just go up to 1,000 women a day and expect that they're going to date you. Of course you're getting rejected. Who are these women? Do you know them? Do you know anything about them? Or do you just see that they're beautiful and want to have sex with them and approach?
Well, it's exactly the same thing as that guy last week that I mentioned that said the video is like, women keep telling me I'm too old because I'm 42 or 43, whatever it was. It's like, yeah, you just keep on.
Stop it.
Get away from the school bus stop.
Please leave the college freshman alone.
This is a high school. This is not speed dating.
Well, a next bus full of them is going to be coming.
Are you, and this is what I mean. Are you 18?
Are you 18?
Okay. Are you 18?
How soon?
No? Okay.
I'll wait.
I'll be back.
It's so weird, but I just
so
can't.
Weird. The whole mentality of it is so fucking weird.
But dating, like just seeing women as like, oh, beautiful thing approaching, I'll just hit on that. Like without ever appreciating who they are as people. And like, you know, you're not getting appreciated either, if we're being honest. No. Like if you're just picking beautiful women on the road, like no, they're not appreciating you either. They're not going to know you. Like it's not dating.
It's this weird way. Like they've taken, like I said, the example I gave earlier of this nugget of good advice and made it bad. Like, why are you ruining? You can't just because obviously, yeah, you should be when you're young and you're dating and you're finding
Yeah.
out, maybe you don't know what you really want yet, and you should go on multiple dates and stuff like that. But you shouldn't just be like, oh, just as many as possible. How many girls you hit on this week? 100? Am I the manliest man? Now I did a million. I did a million. I got rejected by 1 million women this week.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
the
so
manliest man ever.
it's so true though, because it's like the good advice would be like, hey, it's okay to get rejected. You put yourself out there and there's more fish in the sea. And instead he's like, hey, brother, don't you worry about rejection because 10,000 18-year-olds are born.
Did you go to church and hit on women? They go to church and hit on women, and they all say, and they go to another church, and then go to the college, and then there's so many community college. What state are you in? And then go to.
It's so desperate and and intense and like women, speaking for myself even, you can feel that. Like if someone's like, hey, date me, you're like, whoa, I don't even know you. I'm just trying to drink my latte at the coffee shop.
And it's
Back
never
off.
a reflection on why are so many women rejecting me? What could I possibly do to make myself somebody that someone somewhere might be willing to go on a date or have a relationship with? It's the same guy there was a guy once that was like, I go on almost exclusively first dates. He was like,
I'm kind of an expert.
God, and women are just so flippant about this crap. So I just keep on going. I'm just like, first date, and this is expensive.
Women only do first dates. It's insane.
So weird. Every time they meet me, and so I have to like, here's what you do, like, or like giving the advice, like, here's how you make yourself, and don't talk to them on the phone ahead of time, because you need to make sure they meet you on the date. Because if they talk to you ahead of time, they're not going to want to go on the date with you. So you have to make sure to say this exact thing.
I did see that they're like,
Yeah,
don't
that's
communicate other than the date. Like,
this is real advice. And I'm like, you're listening to it. Like, this is parody, right?
are you
This has
joking?
got to be a joke.
This is so scary what you're doing. Like
No,
this.
these young men are just eating it up. They're like, oh, this is great. I said, okay, so and I should yell at her. I should be mean to her on the date. Okay, so don't talk to her ahead of time. Lie about who I am, and then be mean to her.
Got
And
it.
if she doesn't like that, there's 10,000 more 18-year-olds that I can hopefully haven't figured out. How
It's so
terrible I am.
gross. It's such a gross thing to say. Oh God. What it's so funny because these men will talk about like their game, like, oh, you just don't know the right line of this, blah blah blah. It's like I think what you're saying, if I'm getting that, you're talking about manipulating someone, pretending you don't like them, making them feel like shit. And also I think the word you're looking for isn't game, it's lying. You're
Right.
lying to these women. You didn't invent lying. Like, it's been around a long time, but most people don't do it because of morals. They don't feel comfortable lying to someone to get them to sleep. So it's like, I got mad game. I got all these girls to sleep with me because I just lied to them. I put them at risk. Like,
There was one guy that I wish, this is a long time ago I saw this video, and he talked about how the like renting a really expensive car and hanging
yes.
out places like for it too, like this exact same thing, and he was like, you'd be amazed how well it works. And then what did you gain from that?
A bill.
If this is abrupt in the editing, I just want to let everyone know, I theoretically, as of recording this right now, I'm fine, but there is a gigantic fire that sprung out, and in the past hour has grown from 50 acres to 3,500 acres, and is spreading near where I live. So, my wife just called me. She was like, I need your logic brain to
Yeah.
tell me that I shouldn't be panicking right now. And so we are, and I'm not certain that I can do that. So, we gave you some good stuff today. This is a great episode.
Dragon smut and bad
Dragon-
men.
Dragon Smut, bad men, and men looking for 10,000 18-year-olds are weird. There you go. Summary of the show. Follow us on all the places. Our pre-show is twice as long as our actual show this week.
We love you.
We love you. And I hope that next week I get to tell you, man, that was silly that we were so scared.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
I love you.
Hey friends, it is Regan, aka the Manhater, coming to you live while I'm editing. I realized while editing that this episode ended on quite an ominous note, but I wanted to let you know that Chesko is fine, his family is fine, and their house is fine. Everybody is okay. So hopefully you all feel a little bit better, and we will see you all next week.
I got some good advice for you.